Hello everybody. What I'd like to do here is got my friend Chris Gerry on the line, and he's the landlord of the Shoulder of Mutton pub in Hamstall Ridware in the Midlands. I've known Chris. Can you hear me okay, Chris?
Yes, I can. Fine, thank you.
Well, Chris, we had a conversation the other day, and a couple of things you said I thought were really fantastic, and I'd like the world of Beep to be able to hear the things that you said to me. I think it would be a real benefit to a lot of people who have not been in your position, because Chris, obviously you've got Beep installed in your premises, and you've got a couple of useful insights. One, because you've been in business a long time and you do know people very well, and secondly, because you've had in the past you've had a loyalty system yourself from another company. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. We installed a loyalty program about 3 years ago, which we had to install our own EPOS system and cards.
Chris, how much did you pay for that?
We paid about £2,500 for our EPOS system hardware, and probably an extra £600-700 on top of that for the setup of the loyalty program.
So you paid, what was it, £2,500 for the EPOS, and
£2,500 would be for that EPOS system and hardware to run that, which obviously that's like the till, if you like, and about £700-800 on top of that for our loyalty program, which gave us the ability to hand out our plastic shoulder of mutton card, which wasn't a magnetic one. It was just a shoulder of mutton card that was printed for us, nothing special. And on there, the customer then could collect points. It only applied to the shoulder of mutton. So what happened was, when you collected your points and you got the relevant number of points to come back for whatever you could redeem your points for, I would then give you your free meal that we did, or free pizza, or free 4 steaks and a bottle of wine, which would be a cost to my business, because I'd have to pay my chefs to cook it, and obviously the raw ingredients I would give you free as a thank you for your loyalty.
And obviously you put that company out a while ago, but didn't you say they came back to you and asked you to upgrade something and spend some more money on an upgrade?
Yes, that's right. What it basically was, just going back a little bit, each card that we issued to our customer on our old loyalty system, and you've got to remember that this loyalty system is only applicable to the shoulder of mutton. It wasn't a communal one, it was just for me. So you couldn't go and redeem your points anywhere else. You've got to come back to me to do so. And that was a cost to my business in giving you free stock. Each card then cost me between £1.50 and £2 to issue to you, which obviously, again, that's a cost. Now, what we have here in terms of the old loyalty system was a company that was prepared to sell me an updated version of the back office for me to do various operations within that back office appertaining to my loyalty system, and they were quite happy to charge me an extra £700 for the update. Not only that, but their technical support for this, on top of that, was going to be an extra £200 on a yearly basis. This would cover me for 24-hour technical support. So it was quite a costly operation, especially when you can take into consideration the fact that when you've given your customer its reward, that's a cost to the business. When I looked at the Beep system, just moving slightly forward on, when I looked at the Beep system, when I gave them their cash back on their card with the Beep system, and I paid that into the Beep system, I was aware that cash, less the 2.75% that I was to pay for bringing that customer into my pub on the transactional sale, less that. But that £20 or £10 or £50 that I put on his card, once he came back or another customer came in to redeem that, I claimed that back from Beep, so it was reconciled on my account. Therefore, there was margin maintenance still left with the Beep system, whereby with my system, I was giving food away.
Right.
And my chef's time to cook it.
Well, I've just added that up. That you spent £3,900 And then you were spending an extra £200 a year on support, and you were spending £1.50, £2 for the cards. So
well, if we can just say, to be fair to people, if we can say that, say, £2,000 of that was for me nice walkie-talkie, nice shiny till that I bought. So £1,900 of it would go to my setting up of my loyalty system.
Okay.
Which was basically useless outside of my business.
Oh, right, okay. And since you were the first people we spoke to about the EPOS, you've got a few people coming in, just come to find you from Beep. That was right about a week or so ago. Did you have some people come in?
So that's right. I was milling around an hour before service starts, and in walked 5 customers who bought a drink at the bar, went and sat down, came over to me and asked me if I was the boss, and I said, yes, I was the boss. And the guy said, do you accept Beep cards? Here, I think that you do.
And that was the first time anybody had ever said it, was it?
It was the first time anybody ever said it, so it took me aback a little bit, because obviously you don't just think that you can put this Beep system into your business and sit back and think, well, you know, you've got to actively encourage your customers to become part of your loyalty system. And obviously then they know that they're a loyal, you know, they're respected as a loyal customer of yours, and that you do your little bit as well. So I sort of was thinking, well, he's not a customer of mine. I've never seen this guy before in my life, and he's asking me about Beep. Who is he? And he said, I've seen you on the Beep map.
Okay.
We live.
Can I stop you there? Can I stop you there? So he found you by using the Beep map. Is that right?
He found us. Well, and I was just coming to that point. He's in the Beep map, and my point is this: in the 7 years I've been in this particular business, and 22 years I've been in this particular trade, I have spent an absolute fortune on advertising. We have, as most people have in their county magazines, Staffordshire Life, Derbyshire Life, Cheshire Life, and those magazines are a minimum for a credit card size advert of about £200 plus VAT, going up to £800-900 for a quarter of a page and half a page adverts.
And how long does that advert last, Chris?
Well, that advert will last for a month, because the magazines are monthly. So somebody reads it for one time, and then it sits in the bathroom, or it sits normally on the dining room table. So for when the posh friends come round, I know they have Staffordshire Life or Derby Life in the house, but nobody ever bothers to read it after the first time. So I've never really got much back from it. So here's this guy that turns up, looked at me on the Beep map, and decided to come along. Here's my point. My point is, this guy lives less than 10 miles away from me, and in 7 years didn't even know I existed. But because of the Beep map, found me.
Wow. And just out of interest, how much did they spend?
Well, off the top of my head, I'm not quite absolutely sure. I think it was somewhere in the region of about £70 if we total it all up on the evening, which, to be quite honest with you, for nothing, in terms of comparing it to what I'd have to spend on advertising to bring £70 in, that was a good night. That
was certainly good for your pub then.
I've been in business a long time, like yourself, Lyndon. One swallow doesn't make a summer, the right saying, but what it does say to me is, if we've got 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 people coming finding me on the Beep map, then that's £1,500, probably £2,000 in that night I'm going to take. That I've got to be honest with you, there is no way on this earth what the Beep to set up, the minimal cost to set up, there's no way on this earth would I actually be able to bring in £1,000 or £2,000 worth of business for that cost. It's impossible.
Yeah, and you've seen the Beep EPOS. I know right now at this moment in time we're working on your table plan to give you some extra bespoke things just for the shoulder mutton. We're designing an extra add-on to your EPOS, which is the table plan. So we've taken that off you for about a week until we give it you back. But you have had the chance to see the EPOS in action. How does the EPOS compare with previous EPOS systems you've seen?
Well, I'm going to tell you two things. Number one, I've been in sales in terms of retail sales before I came into the pub industry. So I dealt with shops and businesses that did business on the high street, and 20 odd years of experience in the pub trade, and a lot of experience with the EPOS systems. What happens with most EPOS systems is that most companies design their EPOS systems so complicated that people like myself who want to program something simple in, like we'll have chips with that, or we want to add a new bottle of wine on there. We'd have to then ring up this IT department, get some guy to then run through it, or even send out their technician at £70 call out door to my till.
Mm-hmm.
With the Beep EPOS system, I've got to be honest with you, the people won't know me, but I'm not very IT minded. But with the Beep EPOS system, I was quite happily to play, putting stuff on the system. I could even do it with, I've got the barcode reader, which is a very old, antiquated one. And for a very small amount of money, you can buy them today. Plug it into your system and load your products on it, and it comes up with what the product is, and you can beep your product in all day long, and it comes up. It's simple and easy to use. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So, customer friendly.
So you've been around EPOSes for a while. We charge in US dollars $250 to integrate that EPOS. We actually give the EPOS for free. We just charge you the time it takes to set it up. So how do you feel about that as a business owner, paying that?
Linda, it's a no-brainer. I've got to tell you that if you wanted just an EPOS system from an EPOS provider from the company I use in Birmingham, and I'm not going to obviously mention their name, that would cost you alone, with no packaging there in terms of product in there. You have to sort of put your own product in, as you do with the Beep system, but you or provide them with a spreadsheet of your product. But you would have a basic system, and it would cost you minimum £800. Mm-hmm. So when you say to me about it's not just about $250 or 150 British pounds in this country, roughly. It's about what you get for that money. Mm-hmm. And yes, you get the EPOS. There's no way you can get an EPOS system for 150 quid. If you can, go and fetch me one, because I haven't seen it. Okay. And then if you can, bring me one of them. That's good. That's brilliant. But then can you provide me with the service that Beep can provide me with? And I would absolutely, categorically doubt that.
I was just going to ask you about the money, because a lot of people in Beep are not involved in retail. They've not been involved in business even. Involved in both and have been for a lot of years. I've known you, Chris, for over 25 years. But can you, for the benefit of anyone listening to this recording, can you talk to me about cost of advertising and what you are typically prepared to spend advertising budget? Because people looking at installing an EPOS system for just a handful of dollars, as we talk about it, I know that it is just a handful of dollars, but I'd like to get it from the horse's mouth, as it were.
I think two things have to be thought about here. And I've had a long time with the Beep system in my business, and to look what the back office provides. And probably this recording isn't, we're not here to go through that today, but what you get with the total support solution. So it's not just about, I pay me 100 quid, $250, and I've integrated with Beep. So it isn't just about that. It's what you get for that. It's a membership of what you get and the support you get. But let's just keep it on the $250 versus what you'd have to pay for advertising. If we take Staffordshire Life magazine, and I'm just using an example, this Christmas I put an advert in Staffordshire Life for our Christmas fair menu and for our Christmas day. It cost £275 plus VAT. Because we're VAT registered, people in business, out of business won't understand, but we claim that VAT back. So it cost me £275 to throw in the November issue of Staffordshire Life. That's like going fishing, throwing all your bait in the river and sitting there and hoping to God something's going to come out of it. I've got to tell you now, and this is no lie, I didn't have one phone call that mentioned I saw your advert in the Staffordshire Life. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the £275 I spent on in 1 month's advertising had been thrown away. Mm-hmm. Or as a friend of mine said about advertising in Staffordshire Life and Derbyshire Life, I'm not putting those magazines down because they're very, very good at what they do. Mm-hmm. But that type of advertising, you might as well get your £20 notes and have some warmth off them when you burn them, because you'll have better value. Okay. Now, with the Beep system, if we look just for a second at $250, 150 quid, Great British pounds, mm-hmm. and we say that Beep brings us £1,000 worth of customing for that £150. Yeah. Number one, there is no way that I can even contemplate bringing £150, bringing £1,000 of business in for £150. But that's not just for 12 months, that's for life. That's a lifetime membership of Beep. That's it, a one-off payment. You don't pay no more. If I want to go in Staffordshire Life December, I've got to pay the 275 again. In January, 275. So to advertise, a little credit card advertisement in Staffordshire Life for 12 months will be £3,000, and I can't guarantee a customer. Yet Beep got me a customer because of the Beep map within a month of me integrating with Beep.
Fantastic.
Can I say something else?
Yeah, sure.
Can I just say something else? On the 2.75% that Beep charges a transactional fee, Beep bring you £1,000 worth of business in. 2.75% is £27.50, am I right?
Yes.
Challenge any businessman or woman to generate £1,000 worth of turnover for £27.50 investment.
Absolutely.
And I've got to tell you this, from a business point of view, that is an impossibility. But with Beep, it's achievable.
Yeah, and it's a reality.
So,
yeah. And
it is reality.
And before that, you when I first met you, you were involved in supplying confectionery to the retail market. So you were actually from the other side selling into that industry as well. So it's one of the reasons I came to you in the first place, because I knew you've got that background in retail.
I supplied confectionery to what they call CNTs, which was confectionery, news and tobacco shops, news agents, corner shops, multiple retail outlet, shops that have got 3 or 4 shops, etc. So yes, I've come from that background, and the one thing that people have got to realise, whether you're in this business or not, and part of the Beep distributorship, is any customer, any business today, the number one priority is the retention of loyal customers. Because if you don't look after your customer, somebody else will. And that's the top and bottom of being in business. Okay,
thanks very much for that, Chris. Now, before we go, have you got anything you'd like to say to the beepers of the world that may be listening to this?
I think it comes down to this, Lyndon, that I've been in quite a few businesses, and some nights you do lock the door, and there is a time of quiet desperation, really, that says, for God's sake, this has got to get better sometime. Well, I've got to tell you this, you beepers of the world have got something in your hands that can go into any store, shop, pub, restaurant, hotel, any business that serves the general public, or any business that manufactures and serves a customer base with the customers themselves, and you can give them that lifeline, because it's not about just bringing customers back to that particular store day in, day out. It's also about the community of developing a loyalty system that competes with the big boys. Because I, on my own, cannot compete with them. I'm like a pencil, I can be snapped at any one time. But put a bunch of pencils together and we can't be broke. You've got the ability to give that to your local publican, hotelier, shopkeeper, in the way of Beep. Don't be frightened. Don't be frightened of saying, I've got something that you need to have a look at.
Okay. Chris,
because at the end of the day, you're doing them a favour.
Golden. Thank you very much for allowing me to record this conversation, Chris. I'm just going to hit the stop button and give you a call back in a minute. Thank you very much, Chris.